high school sports on the Hartford Cable Network. I'm Don Morrison and my partner Tom Nelson. Tom, we're in Bel Air tonight. It's the Bel Air Bobcats versus the Fallston Cougars, a boys lacrosse game, a Chesapeake Division game. These two teams, actually Bel Air, Fallston, when you think about it, it's always a rivalry, no matter the records. Throw out the records because it's going to be fun. What do you think?
Absolutely, and that's what's great about this. It's a beautiful day for lacrosse, the little windy, but the air is great, and there's rivalry in every sport with Bel Air and Fallston, from fall to winter to spring. So.
Fallston 4-1 coming in, Bel Air 2-4. That's Bel Air with the ball in the white. We're just underway. You just tuned in. Nice save there by the goalie. That's Jack Emmett making the save for Fallston. We'll give you the starting lineups as we have time. First of all, on attack for Fallston, Pete Buckler, Jacob McMillan, and Quinn McLaughlin. Midfield is Aiden Dixon, Drew Minges, and Mike Ostremski. On defense, Julian Bazinski, Mike Carter, Owen Carantonis, and the goalie is Jack Emmett. You met him already making that save. 30-minute halves were just underway, about a minute into the game, no score. Bel Air Bobcats, their starting lineup. Jackson, Casper, Seth Dunkley, and Jake McGee. They're the attackers. Midfield, Vincent DeFazio, Jacob Powell Jr. On defense, Wyatt Gessner, Ashton Grew, Jacob Harris, and James Woodford. Braden Edwards is the senior goalie. Both goalies are seniors. And Tom, that's always important to have senior leadership.
Well, yeah, it is definitely good for that because you're controlling the defense, and the confidence starts from the goal out.
Bobcats in their white home uniforms, Fallston in the orange visiting uniforms. As we said, Fallston 4-1. Interesting, Tom, they lost 4 games early in the year due to COVID. They had one player test positive, and so they were off for 2 weeks until the COVID was clear. So they won against North Hartford, came back and won against North Hartford after the COVID break. Lost that big game to C. Milton Wright, the only game they've lost all year.
It takes a while to get back on track, and everybody's going to be a little bit rusty. But as the season progresses here, hopefully everybody starts getting into stride.
And Tom, you know, of course, not playing last year, meaning they lost the entire 2019 season. So these seniors are really juniors when you think about it, you know, because they didn't play at all last year. So if you're a senior with, you know, like 3 years experience instead of 4, makes a difference. And they had no preseason this year. So they had no preseason games. They just practiced and then went right into their season a little bit late.
That's true.
It's good to see them on the field, though, as you well know, with the entire athletic schedule being canceled last spring, fall, and winter. It's good to see these kids back in action.
Absolutely. It's just a lot of fun to be here. I appreciate you letting me have the opportunity to not only come watch a lacrosse game, but help you out.
And commentate. I like it. I like having somebody who actually knows the game with me.
The game moves quite fast with these young men.
It does.
Yeah. Fallston looks like they're pressing way out here.
Yeah, the Bobcats, I guess they really have the only shot on goal yet. We're about, what, 2 minutes into the contest. Yeah. Bobcats with the shot, another nice save. Good save by Emmett. Emmett has, 48 saves, 43 goals allowed. He has about a 60% save ratio. 91 shots he's faced so far this year. Bobcats with the interception. Here they come.
Fallston can't get the ball down to the, one more pass. That's a tough one. Oh, good job.
That's a number I don't have on my roster. Let me look at, number 17 is Jacob Sin in the ball game, number 17, who carried the ball down the field. Bobcats 2-4 coming in. Boy, they'd like nothing better than to win on their home field today against their arch rival, Fallston. Fallston's new coach this year. It's hard to say that Patrick Mull is new, but he's the new head coach at Fallston.
They're an outstanding family when it comes to lacrosse, and Patrick knows the game very, very well. He's got a great coaching staff with him also.
Boy, he really does.
Yeah.
Patrick, who still holds the all-time record for goals scored and points scored when he played at Fallston.
Yeah, he was a great assist man. He has such a great vision of the field, and he was open.
First team All-County, 4-year starter with the Cougars was Patrick Mull.
In my old days, I was a crease attackman, so I needed feeders. And Patrick, I'd be taking him out for pizza all the time. Make sure
He'd be so happy he couldn't pass to you. But
well, I didn't think of that, but maybe I'd eat most of the pizza.
Here come the Cougars on the attack now. That's Pete Buckler, the senior, with the ball, taking it behind the net.
Boston now has control of the ball. They haven't had real control, so everybody's getting a touch, everybody's getting a feel, and right about now they probably be moving into an offensive.
Boy, Tom, that's a very good point. Instead of attacking right away, getting sort of your feet on the ground.
Yeah, everybody get a touch. Here we go. We got a drive.
Cougars on the attack now, looking to try to get a shot off. That's great defense by ball. Great pass inside. Shot, goal.
Nice look.
It looks like the goal was by number 5. Yep, that number 5. Let's see on our roster here. We don't have him as one of our attack people. That is
He'll be right
Connor Feely.
Well,
no, check it. That's
yeah.
Bel Air. It's Remy Harding, number 5. Here comes a replay. You'll be able to see a great pass inside.
By Pete Buckler.
There is Buckler's
Beautiful
pass.
look. And that is great movement inside the crease. All moving, helping each other out, but keeping the stick in a position where it could be caught, turned, and shot.
Remy Harding with the goal at 6:49. So I'm not sure why they have 6:49 on the clock. 6:49. Yeah, about what, 5 minutes into the game. So Harding with the goal as Boston breaks ahead 1-0 now.
The face-off man for Boston, Aiden Dixon's a sophomore. He is an outstanding young man, and he has a great vision and great heart.
He's got like 68% of the face-offs he's won. Second shot, second goal. It looks like it was number 16 who scored for Boston. In that case, it's Lucas Holbert. Lucas Holbert with the goal. So Boston goes up now by 2-0. That goal coming at 6:22. So within, what, 27 seconds, they've scored the 2 goals of the game so far.
With limited possession.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, like you said, that first time they just passed it around, really not trying to attack. And then once they went into it with great passing.
Right, they ran their plays, they ran their formations.
Tom, talk about the face-off that occurs so different than girls lacrosse, obviously.
Right, that ball's laid down. This is
That's Aiden Dixon who comes away with it.
Yeah.
Aiden's just a sophomore, as you said.
He's got a great future ahead of him because the position that he plays is needed into all colleges.
Yeah, it's almost like a long snapper in football.
Yeah.
You know?
And a punter, right? They specialize. So.
Buckler making the pass. Boston with the ball, with the attack. So early on, it looked like Bel Air, Tom, was in control. Now Boston has taken over.
A nice save, goalie.
And that goalie save was by Braden Edwards. Mike Ostremski, number 17, was the young man for Boston who made the pass. Attempted pass. That's a little tough inside like that.
Forced it a little bit, but
Jacob Harris coming away with the ball, number 27 for Bel Air.
He needs some help. He needs some help. Somebody's got to help him out.
For triple teamed, he loses the ball. Well, you get like that, Tom, what do? Do you just try to back off until somebody comes to help? Great pass, great shot. Buckler! Oh, my goodness, no chance at all for Edwards. Buckler making a great fake and getting the bucket at 5:16 left in this first period. So just like that now, it is 3-0 for the Boston Cougars. I say get the bucket because Frank Mazzanotti teaches me that this game is so close to basketball. And it really was, that one-on-one move. Boy, if you're a goalie, I mean, what do? You get a guy who's facing you one-on-one, you know, right. you can't cover the entire sectors, upper left and upper right and lower.
Well, it looks like they got 3 goals on 4 shots, I believe.
I think you're right.
The goalie made a great save on the one. And they're starting to win the face-off, ball control.
Dixon again with that face-off.
Yeah.
That's Aiden Dixon, number 11, the sophomore.
Okay.
Boston threatening to run away with this game early. Buckler. Pete Buckler, a senior, 9 goals and 2 assists. 10 ground ball recoveries he's made. Headed for the University of Tennessee at Knoxville next year is Pete Buckler.
Okay, we're clearing out. See if he rolls back. No?
Buckler passes it.
All these passes are on the stick. Right here, right there. So when you receive it, you catch it. It's right where you need it to make the next pass. It's not down by your kneecaps. It's not way over your head.
That's a great point. Lucas Holbert, number 16, with the ball. Passes to Dixon.
Again, that one didn't quite make the.
Looked like he got hit. The stick got hit just as he tried to make the pass. Bobcats need something to happen here, Tom.
Yeah, they're gonna need to clear it out. So they're letting the goalie come up there, man, and everybody else, and let the goalie clear the ball up the field. Goalies aren't used to that, but here they come. They put a little pressure on the defenseman.
Yeah, and he's a senior goalie, is Braden Edwards, so he should be used to it. Intercepted by Falston. Here they come again. Running free without anybody taking him. Now he's finally taken.
Okay.
At 23 for Falston was Ben Ziervogel.
It was a nice push to see if anything could be created, and when nothing was there, they pulled it back out and maintained possession. That's smart lacrosse.
Noel Langlots, number 3. Well, we used to, that flag goes down. It looks like a Falston player is a bit injured too. Tom, we used to see a lot of that in the early days of lacrosse here in the county, where football players came out and played the game.
Yeah. They'd give them a big stick. They'd say if they pass this area, hit them.
Rack them. And of course, football players like to do that.
Yeah.
Now, Tom, there's going to be a penalty here. Is that going to be, what, a minute? Or do we know at this point?
Well, I think it was 2 flags. One was on the penalty and one was right after that.
Officials talking it over.
Yeah.
We know that Bel Air is going to be a man down at least for at least 1 minute.
Okay. Let's see we're not cross-check, I think he called.
It looked like the Falston player went the way that the Bel Air player didn't think he was going to go. I don't think it was intentional, but he hit him a good shot. Luckily, the Cougar player looks like he's going to be okay.
Yeah, when you're on the sideline, you can actually see if the bench was here on this sideline, we were able to see what the referee was kind of making a hand signal. We're
about 75 yards away.
Yeah, right.
My eyes aren't that good anyhow. 3 minutes, 30 seconds left in the first period. 3-0 Falston leading. They have scored goals at 6:49, 6:22, and 5:16. Harding, Holbert, and Buckler, the 3 goals for Falston. And now with Bel Air playing a man down, this could be danger time, Tom.
Yeah, Falston's going to want to get a good shot on the goal, and their stick skills and their ability to make plays.
I don't know if this is releasable. In other words, if Falston scores, do they release a penalty?
It was hard to tell from here. I think it is releasable.
Falston taking their time.
Yeah, they're running a 3-3. The ball comes into the middle. Look for a little skip pass when it gets in there, where you don't throw it to Jason, you just skip it.
Contact again, no flag.
Yep. There's a skip pass.
Another flag goes down. Blocked by Edwards, but a flag at the point where the man made the shot. Let's see what that's going to be about.
Number 8.
Flag on Bel Air's number 8. And that's Ashton Grew, number 8, the junior. Now they're going to send another man out for Bel Air. They're going to be 2 down.
They're going to be 2 down, so they're going to have to box it up.
Wow. We again don't know because we're too far away to be able to tell you what the penalty is, but we know that the Bobcats are going to be short 2 men for at least the next 30 seconds.
So they're changing their formation here.
So when you say box it out, Tom, they've got what, 5 defensemen there?
They got 4 defensemen.
And the goalie.
So you're in a box, or you can go to a diamond look. There's a lot of
almost like a zone defense. Try to keep them out of the middle.
Exactly. Keep everything outside. Goalie makes the save. There's that skip pass.
Buckler, boy, great recover by Buckler, and he gets the shot over goalie Edwards' head. What a play. That ball was bounced and it hit at his feet. He picked it up, and in a single motion, Buckler gets his 2nd goal at 2:43. You'll watch how Buckler is able to knock the ball down, scoop it up, and in one motion hit it right by goalie Edwards. Edwards had absolutely no chance to save that.
That's that skip pass they're looking for. Very tough to defend.
4-0.
4 on 6, yeah. So we're all even right now.
Okay, so we are even. So it was a releasable penalty.
Yes.
Tom, explain that releasable, non-releasable. What's that mean?
Well, releasable penalty means if the offensive team on whether extra man scores, the penalty is over. Non-releasable means that if there's a score, he stays in the penalty box for the duration of the penalty. So if it's 1 minute, he's got to stay the whole minute.
Okay.
And that allows the offense to score as many times as they can, which is what you try to do.
So it'd be the more severe penalty.
Yeah,
obviously.
non-releasable. And sometimes it could be a 2 or 3 minute non-releasable, depending on the infraction.
With about 2 minutes left here in this first period, it's been all Falston. 4-0 they lead.
Yeah, first few minutes, Bel Air had the ball. That's a nice look.
And he misses the shot. Had an opening, did Seth Dunkley, but unable to make the shot.
If he could have switched hands and shot with his left hand, a better angle. He'd have his hands to the left-hand side and get a better shot. We'd have more goal to shoot on. That was a tough angle for him. It's
like when you steal the ball in basketball, or you're, making a fly ball catch in the outfield for baseball. You're wide open. Sometimes that's the hardest shot to make.
Yeah.
Think about it. Sometimes three-point shooters want to be defended. They don't want to be wide open.
Right.
Bobcats looking to try to get that goal that would get them back in the game. Inside a minute 30 left in the first period.
Number 4 inside on defense is really doing a great job talking to his defense.
That's Mike Carter, the sophomore.
Yep. Nice check. Okay, they got numbers. They're going to look up.
Just about to have that pass made.
If you're a defenseman, get it to your midi, let them do the running. That's why they're midfielders.
That was Jacob Sin, number 17, who, had he been able to make that catch. Oh, nice spin move by Falston. Here's Buckler again. Buckler with 2 goals already. Buckler's a senior, as we mentioned to you.
Great kid.
University of Tennessee at Knoxville. That's the big one, right? That's the major campus.
They're offering money in different schools, and it depends on what his major is going to be. It might be the place where he wants to go, so that when he finishes his college career, he's got a great life ahead of him.
And we talked about so happy that the kids are out playing here in this spring. First time they played in 3 full seasons. Last year they had their scrimmage and ready to play, and then COVID canceled it.
This is Jacob McMillan, number 6, had the ball there. He's a freshman.
Shot a bit high and wide. Yeah. Tom, that's something we didn't used to see, seeing freshmen playing on varsity, and not only playing but being a standout role.
Absolutely.
Is that because of the rec leagues that the kids are so much more advanced now?
Yeah, there's a lot to do with them when they first pick up a stick. But look at that pass.
Oh, what a pass, what a shot. That's a one-timer. It looked like number 7 making the shot. You're saying Buckler got the goal. I thought...
well, Jacob, that was a pass almost from the end line.
16 made the goal, we're told. Yeah, that is Lucas Holbert. And for Lucas, that's his second goal. Here you'll see the replay. Watch this pass. Great pass, great catch, great shot. Holbert.
What timing.
Ladies and gentlemen, this evening's game will be streamed live.
Say that again, Booth. Do we know who it was? Yeah, it was too. It was Buckler who made the shot. So for Buckler, that's his 3rd goal in the first period. He's got a hat trick, and we are still, that's the end now of the first period. As the first period ends, with about, 5 seconds left in the period, makes it 6-0. Tom, I tell you, 6 goals in 1 period. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Check it. It is
from one side, it's good.
5-0. Excuse me.
Yeah, 5-0, and it's how much time is left in the quarter?
I don't know. It looked like we had a few seconds left. The clock is showing 12 minutes, like the period's over. This high school game of the week proudly sponsored by APG-FCU, a member-owned, member-driven credit union helping families in Harford County achieve, prosper, and grow.
That was a tough goal to give up in the closing seconds.
Yeah.
And that was that was a great opportunity. Just give it a shot.
I didn't see who made the pass, but
I believe it was Jacob McMillan, the freshman. I think I was looking over there. So he's on the end line right there, and then Pete makes the cut, and he just puts it on the stick.
Yeah. Pete Buckler, we're speaking of what a shot he made. 3 goals already coming in with 9 goals. Boston, we told you, was 4-1 coming in. They won their first game against North Hartford in overtime, and then COVID hit, and they were out 4 games. 4 games got postponed, canceled. Not sure if they'll ever be made up, probably not. Down goes the Bobcat and recovered by Falston. We are now in the second period of play. They've switched sides. It's Falston going from left to right in the orange uniforms.
Nice look.
Contact.
Loose ball push.
Looks like Falston will retain possession now. No personal foul called. Team foul. Falston moving with the ball. That's Aiden Dixon, the sophomore, number 11. Young man who got the face-off.
It's flagged down. And Falston now has a shot to take a shot.
So meaning that the flag will stay down, but when Falston loses possession, if they do, they'll get the ball back.
They will, and then the penalty will be assessed.
So the idea is don't interrupt the flow of the play.
Okay, we got a free shot right here, so let's see what they're going to do.
And the Cougars are being very patient, leading 5-0. Doug Testerman, the head coach at Bel Air. I want to thank Craig Reddish and Doug for all their help in putting this telecast together, along with Patrick Mull and his staff. Recovered by the Bobcats.
Okay, that should be it.
It means that Falston should get the ball back. You talked about that staff that he has. Zach Esser, Doug Sheritz, and Pernell Summers. Boy, all these guys have great backgrounds. We're talking about Falston. You know, played at places like Curley and Boys Latin.
Right.
Played in college. Even one of them was drafted by the pros.
It's a nice young staff. You know, I don't know what we call young anymore, but these guys, when they played, they were the real deal in their era of lacrosse, and now they're able to pass along that information and knowledge to these young guys.
Patrick Mull is still teaching at Aberdeen, but this is his first year as head coach at Falston. Cougars now with the ball, passing it around with that big 5-0 lead.
Look at that. Nice look.
Buckler retaining possession will be Falston. Tom, explain, you're the closest when it goes out of play?
Well, that one was a pass that must have been deflected. Did it look? Okay.
Now they're saying
the one referee was calling it a shot, but it was the upper referee, the trail referee up here was calling it a pass, and it was a pass.
And with a pass
I thought it was deflected out of bounds.
Okay, with a pass going out of bounds, then it goes to the team, the opposite team. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's just like anything, you just lost the ball.
Here come the Bobcats now, needing to make something happen.
Well, they're down a man, so they got to kind of kill some time here. Bel Air's coaching staff not real happy about something. Obviously, they're not happy trailing 5-0. 9:44 left in the half. When Bel Air got the ball down the field, they had a man in the penalty box, so the coach called a timeout. This way he could set his team up. And there was some confusion on the far sideline.
Nick Hart, Connor Bell, and Joe Milano, the assistants for the Bel Air Bobcats.
I've known Nick Hart since he was a little chipmunk growing up.
A chipmunk?
He was a little chipmunk running around the lacrosse field.
You say that with all great affection, I know.
Oh, absolutely. What a great kid. His dad, Bruce Hart, wonderful man.
You know, and thank you for that, because last game, Patrick Pollard and I were trying to remember Bruce Hart's name, one of the founders of lacrosse here in the county at Bel Air.
Yep.
Bruce Hart had the unfortunate accident and was a paraplegic for much of the rest of his latter part of his life.
Yep, I worked with him a number of years in the Hartford lacrosse camp and things, and he just kept marching forward. Very inspirational man.
Well, you're right. Even though he is, you know, had the handicap of not being able to walk and being confined to the wheelchair, never lost his great attitude. Nice save there by the Bobcats, Braden Edwards. Yeah, you're talking about Frank Mazzanotti, Dave Volrath, you know, at Falston.
Yeah.
But
Who started here?
John Grubb at North Hartford.
Right,
I mean, the pioneers.
right. Frank came in over at Edgewood High School.
Yeah, out of Towson University.
Yeah.
An All-American at Towson U.
Yeah.
And a Hall of Famer as well.
Absolutely.
Frank
They got
now,
numbers here.
Boston
Nice.
moving it well. Slipping down and the ball going out of bounds, so the ball will go over to the Bobcats. Are they
Pete
even
Buckler knew
now?
exactly where to go with that ball. It's just the pass wasn't there, but that shows his intelligence, on the field intelligence. Very smart play. Just couldn't make the contact.
Timeout called by the Bobcats. 8:14 left in the half, a 5-0 lead. Boston scored all 5 of their goals in that first period. 3 by Pete Buckler, 1 by Holbert, and 1 by Harding. That's where we are, 5-0 with about, as we said, 8:14 left in the half. Boy, so far, Boston has been impressive.
Yeah, a little lull here. You know, neither team has kind of generated any offense to start the second quarter.
Yeah, sometimes when you're up by 5-0, you have a tendency to maybe sit on the lead a little bit.
That's true. Or you try to force it too much to continue the lead. I don't see that here. There's a couple of missed passes. That comes with the territory.
We talked about the Boston program beginning in 1980. That's when the school began playing varsity lacrosse and varsity sports. 28 times. I guess lacrosse started in what? In the mid-1970s, when Al Seski began it here in the county?
That's a question I'm not sure of.
Yeah, I believe it was sometime around 1975 that lacrosse got its start in the county. And, you know, Al Seski, the late great Al Seski, who brought in things like swimming and gymnastics and a lot of girls' sports, and including lacrosse coming in, both for girls and boys. Before he was ahead of his time in terms of revolutionizing the number of sports offered, not only for boys but for girls as well. Tennis became big under Al Seski. Al, who made his reputation, of course, as the Bel Air football coach here. Al Seski Field, right behind us, the old Bel Air High School field.
I'm not sure what that call was.
I don't either, but it ends up being Boston's ball. Tommy, scooping that ground ball, it looks easy out here when you're looking at it from this distance.
You got to bend the knees and you got to get your stick parallel to the ground. Back in the old days when I was playing, when we had mud fields, it was
you scoop up a scoop of mud.
Yeah, it might be buried underneath 6 inches of dirt. And
Tom, we talked to that before we came on the air. They're playing here on a turf field, playing turf as opposed to grass. Talk about the differences.
Oh, well, yeah, it is pretty obvious that the differences are the texture of the field when you're playing. When I was in high school and we played on the back lot area of our field, it was, like I said, it was mud, it was dirt. We had a pretty good high school team. We went on to play at Hofstra University when they first put turf down in 1970 and 71. That's like 100 years ago. But anyway, so we loved the turf because we could scoop the ground balls. We feel like we were running faster. I don't know if I can run fast at all, but, but anyway, yeah, and it allows the kids for the game to be a lot smoother. So it's a good move.
Looking at the field, you can see the goal mouth setting up at the 10-yard line. So the field is actually 100 yards long because you can play behind the goal mouth, but the actual playing from line to line is, what, 80 yards?
Right, from the goal line extended to goal line extended, but then the field goes back 20 yards behind because you have the end line is sort of the back part of the end zone.
Yep.
Or splits the end zone.
And here, just so you see, the blue line is the out-of-bounds line here at Bel Air. Fields are not standardized because they're usually played on a football field, and sometimes you're restricted by a track being just on the edge of the football field. So sometimes it's more narrow than regulation would call it to be. Cougars with the ball. Time running at 7:19 left in the half. Have that 5-0 lead, as you see. Buckler, well, he's been just an outstanding player. Not just the fact that he scored 3 goals. I think I said Buckler, it actually was number 6. That's Jacob McMillan. Jacob, the freshman, 5 goals and 5 assists coming in, 11 ground balls. That's McMillan, the number 6. Boy, nice move. How did he get through that and shoots a little bit wide? Wow.
that was some great body control.
I mean,
Stick control.
he turned left, right, and turned circles. It looked like, just like he knew where he was going, and the defender didn't.
There's a catch, and then there's just a couple of steps, and then it's you're looking for a ball release. Just keep transitioning the ball around to different planes, forcing the defense then to adjust.
A bit of a bad pass, scooped up by Falston.
So here we come.
That's Mike Ostremski, number 17, with the shot. Good save there by Edwards.
Yeah.
Tom, I would not want to be a goalie.
That's my second favorite position.
Really?
Yeah, I just love where the action is.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
But you're sort of at no defense. At least as a catcher in baseball, you've got all kinds of equipment on, and that ball comes pretty hard, and it's really hard. It's that hard rubberized ball.
I've actually seen somebody shoot the ball, and the goalie mask back in the day. They did have that bar in the middle, but the ball didn't penetrate right through, but penetrated enough where like 2/3 of the ball was inside the face mask of the goalie.
Reminds me of baseball when Yogi Berra's mask broke in half and the ball, hit him right in the nose. But with Yogi said, with my face, it really doesn't matter. This high school game of the week proudly sponsored by APG-FCU, a member-owned and member-driven credit union helping families in Harford County achieve, prosper, and grow. Yeah, Yogi, I think we lost him in, 2015?
I know we lost him. I couldn't give you a date on that one.
Yeah, Larry Berra, one of the just great individuals, a great player, a guy who was only 5'7". You think of him being a power hitter like he was, but he was a short, squat little guy.
I can relate to that.
Tom, who goes by the nickname of Squatty Nelson, he likes that nickname.
Yeah,
It's sort of owned it, right?
Yeah, I sort of.
But, back underway here, the Bobcats with the ball, looking to try to get on the scoreboard. Defensively, they played well here in the second period. Just got to get a goal to get the snide off. Nice overhand shot by Jackson Casper, the senior, a little bit wide. 5:23 left in the half. No scoring at all here in this second period. Buckler with 3 goals in that first half. Tough pass.
Yeah, that was you want to have possession and wait for a little better shot maybe.
Looked like there were 3 defenders and 1 offensive line, 1 attackman there.
A deep ride here. There we go.
Here come the Cougars on the attack. They'd like to break through here. They haven't scored since that first period. McMillan. Tom mentioned 20 yards behind that goal mouth that you can go. You can go to the back line of what is the football field. Beautiful stadium here, the Bobcat Stadium. I guess 2005, I think this school opened, the new Bel Air High School. Good pass, unable to make the connection. McMillan. Down he goes, ball still loose. Picked up by the Bobcats.
Yeah, Bella's got to generate some kind of offense here. Look in the middle, beautiful look.
A little bit high on the pass.
Yeah, but nice vision for the pass. Just a little better pass and he'd have been there.
Bobcats looking to get that goal scored. Jackson Casper. Sometimes, Tom, if you get 1 goal, then the lid's off and goals follow. A little push there. Ball will belong to Falston.
Closing in 3.5 minutes here.
Remy Harding, number 5, bringing the ball down. Yeah, just about 3:20 left in the first half. Each period 12 minutes long.
Okay, here they come.
Good double team.
Get it up there, nice.
And a nice, you said it, Tom, good giving up. You didn't have a chance. You were double teamed. Take it back out.
Take it back out, control the ball. Smart play.
Inside 3 minutes.
Go with that left hand.
Aiden Dixon. Dixon with the shot and the goal. Aiden Dixon, the sophomore. Wow, he controlled the ball, went in and shot it right at the feet of Edwards. Edwards with no chance of making the stop. So with the goal at 2:50, you'll watch how Dixon is able to split the defense. Switches hands here, Tom. And now, you know, you're just at the mercy if you're Braden Edwards. Shot it right down at his feet, no chance at all. Dixon with the goal. 6-0 the score. First goal in the second period. I'm impressed with Aiden Dixon, sophomore.
Yeah, and he's facing off.
Yeah.
Oh, he had another face-off in there, but you know, he can face off, and that's one of the things he does really well.
Won 59 face-offs this year, 68% coming in. Nice save there.
Missed.
Yeah, Bobcats had their chance. Jacob Powell, number 10, had the shot. Flag is going to go down. I think that's going to be against Falston.
Yeah, 27, Julian.
Probably not necessary in that case. Julian Bozinski, senior, got a little bit carried away. Bozinski, 9 ground balls. He's caused 7 turnovers. Bozinski, a second year. Remember, he would be a third-year player, but there was no lacrosse last year. Keep emphasizing that because it's hard for folks like me who've been used to, 60 years of watching sports in Harford County and realizing that for a full season, fall, well, actually beginning spring, fall, and then winter, there were no sports here in the county. And now the goal is scored. Finally, the Bobcats come up with a goal. It looked like it was number 3 for the Bobcats. Jackson Jankowiak, Jankowiak. You'll see how Jankowiak makes the shot. Shot it right at the feet of Jake Emmett.
Yeah, he just got that ground ball, and he had some space, and got to take the shot.
Jackson Jankowiak. Jackson is a senior. That goal at 2:03 left here in this first half. Jackson, if I mispronounce your name, I do apologize. It's spelled Jankowiak. Yeah, penalty against the Bobcats. Falston comes away with the ball. Oh, great pass, great shot. That's Buckler again. Buckler one time, but he caught the pass and didn't even do anything, just redirected it into the goal.
Did really well.
1:37, so just like that, Buckler has his 4th goal. And the
Nice positioning by Pete.
The goal that Bel Air had gotten now is just reversed in a matter of what, 20 seconds. Buckler now with 4 goals. Pete Buckler, the senior, headed for University of Tennessee at Knoxville.
He's got such a quick release after he gets the ball in that traffic. He just catches it and lets it go.
Tom, you talked about how smart he is. Yeah, he's got the physical talent, but he knows how the game is to be played.
There's 2 sides of that.
They talk about the game slowing down for people who really know how to play it. It just seems like you're not in a hurry.
Right, you just see things. You just see it all developing. And that is a skill by playing a lot.
Yeah. And by having the innate sort of, second, like a 6th sense of being able to figure what you're supposed to do without even thinking about it.
Right, your drills in practice should be very similar to games so that you get used to the speed of the game. And opportunities that it presents, and then you try to figure out where to go and what to do.
They talk about lacrosse being the fastest game on foot. Oh, that's a nice save.
That was a
Jack
great
Emmett.
shot.
It was that right at the feet, but Emmett went down and knocked it over the goal with his stick. Bobcats looking to try to get another goal. Trailing by 7-1. They were down 5-0 at the end of one period. Boston has scored 2 goals. Bel Air did break through at 2:03. Chankoyak. I think that's the way you pronounce his name, Tom.
Glad you're doing this.
Well, again, I do apologize. We had a late communication with the Bel Air staff, and so weren't able to get some of the information we were hoping to get. So I apologize for not having their stats and other information about the Bobcat team.
Okay, so we have 15 seconds left.
And a 7-1
Boston, I
score.
believe, has got the timeout. And so they're going to talk about offensively, what do we need to do? What do we do? We got to get a shot off, maybe 2 if possible. And if we don't get the shot off, how are we going to defend it? All right. So now Bel Air, they got to be talking about how are we going to defend this? Can we get the ball away, get it downfield quickly? I think if you get the ball away defensively, just chuck it down the field, have a scramble down here by the 30-yard line, and maybe come up with a ground ball, and we can get it to the goal.
Yeah. How devastating it would be if Boston were able to score again, already up by 6 goals.
Right.
And they talk about in basketball and other sports that last, like 30 seconds of a half and the first 30 seconds of the second half being so important because it sets the tone. We're at Bobcat Stadium. Don Morrison, along with my partner Tom Nelson, enjoying great weather here. And hey, Tom, the wind has actually died down.
This is beautiful out.
I know Tom, our cameraman on top of the stadium press box here, is happy about that. It was chilly earlier as we were setting up.
Let's see, they got to play.
7 seconds. Now 5, 3. Looks like, no, they're not getting the shot off. And so our half will end with the Boston Cougars leading by 7-1 as Pete Buckler has 4 of the goals for the Bobcats. He got 3 in that first period and 1 more in the second period. Tom, you got to be impressed with the Boston Cougars.
They started off hot, I guess, coming in the second quarter, so they scored 5 in the first quarter. They got 2 here, but they had control of the ball. That was really good defense there by Bel Air to hold them off, because that was a really, really important part of the game right now. So hopefully they can come out in the second half, Bel Air, and try to get something going like they did in the beginning of the game. They had possession of the ball in the beginning. They weren't getting anything off, and then Boston had the ball for 3 possessions, scored 3 quick goals.
Well, that's a good point. They didn't, just 3 goals. It was boom, boom, boom. Nothing until 6:49. Harding scored, then Holbert scored at 6:22, and then at 5:16 Buckler scored. So as you said, Tom, within a minute and a little bit of seconds, it was 3-0.
That takes a little wind out of your sails, you say, oh, we had possession of the ball way longer than they had it, but they were up 3-0 at that time.
We'll take a break here. We'll come back with the second half. Don't go away. We're at Bobcat Stadium in Bel Air. The Boston Cougars leading by 7-1. Well, welcome back to Bel Air High School. Don Morrison. My great pleasure to have Tom Nelson along with me. Tom, first half, it's been all Boston. No other way to say it. Like you said, the first few minutes, it was Bel Air had the ball. Then when Boston got it and got those 3 goals, boy, they have just dominated.
Right. They just went to work. Closed out their first quarter with a 5-0 run, and then scored 2 in the second. With Bel Air scoring 1. Bel Air's just got to, they have to go to the goal. They have to have people moving without the ball in order to make that happen.
And you're not going to get 6 goals back all at one time. Chip away.
Yeah, it's not football, right, where you can score a touchdown. Right? So.
Well, we saw Boston scoring 3 goals within, let's see, they had it 6:49, 6:22, and 5:16. So in a minute and, 20-some seconds, they were able to score 3 goals.
Yep, this will be an important face-off here. They got a legal procedure.
So Boston will get the ball.
Yep.
That's our man, Aiden Dixon.
Yep, nice move. And nothing there, and they just take it down and set it down. Really got somebody right there.
Dixon with the shot. Oh, my goodness. I'm not sure how the Braden Edwards saved that. I think he saved it with his body.
Good position, good.
Yeah, he got hit. That's why I don't want to be a goalie. The ball hurts. Really.
the goalie was in great position.
He was. He was.
Getting very little angle to make it. It was a good shot.
It was. Nice hard shot.
Yeah.
Speaking of Aiden Dixon, he's got the ball again.
Right.
And that's Buckler, Mr. Buckler. I'll call him Mr. Buckler. When you score 4 goals in, 2 periods.
He's the humblest kid you're going to find. He's a competitor, but he just keeps everything in check.
Isn't that a wonderful thing? And, of course, you being a Falston teacher, you get to see him on a daily basis.
Yeah, a little bit, kids come around. Oh, nice look. It was a nice look there. They
Good
didn't make
recovery.
it. Yeah.
Dixon
Nice
was a nice
cut.
recovery. Or good defense by the Bobcats. That was Jacob Powell who made that defensive play. Jacob hit from behind. That's got to be a penalty.
Yeah, they got.
Yeah, there it goes. Jacob gets up still with the ball.
Okay, they should blow them.
Well, they haven't lost possession yet. Now they do. Well, Jacob got just blistered there by 2 or 3 of the Falston Cougars, but he bounced up and had the ball still in his stick. I'm not sure how he did that.
There's a lot of stuff out there on lacrosse that all bounces differently. You don't know how it happened.
Jacob Powell.
Okay, so this is going to be important extra man offense here.
I think I said Jacob Butler. Let me correct it. It's Jacob Powell. Jacob, who walked off the field a little bit gingerly. I think he didn't show it when he got up, but he's feeling it a bit over on the bench. Bobcats coming in at 2-4. Falston at 4-1. They lost that game to C. Milton Wright 17-3. Andrew Gerard's team is a powerhouse. We mentioned Falston having won 28 either county or UCBAC titles since they began playing lacrosse back in 1980. 6 state titles, 17 regional titles, but they haven't won since 2017 when they won the region title. Their last state title came in 2016.
They've had great coaches, great players, great team spirit.
They have, going all the way back again to Dave Volrath, who I worked with when he was exec director of secondary education, former principal at Aberdeen.
Easy save there. Jackie had the angle. Okay.
Jack Emmett, the senior goalie. Jack Emmett is a golfer. Now, it said on his bio that he wants to play hockey at Florida Gulf Coast. Male hockey, which of course is an Olympic sport. I didn't know they played it in college. It's also in the yearbook style. That's pretty cool when you're the yearbook editor, because then you get to put in the yearbook whatever you want. The people you don't like, their picture turns out to be that horrible photo. Yeah. I remember Pete Vogt was the editor of our yearbook back in 1962 at Edgewood High School. Pete was a really good friend of mine, so he didn't mess me up too badly. I always tried to cater the friendship because I knew that forevermore the yearbook would reflect what Peter thought of me.
That's funny stuff.
It is in hindsight. It wasn't at the time. Here's a shot, a little bit wide.
Handball situation.
A shot by Lucas Hulbert. Lucas, who has one of the 7 goals for Falston. In fact, Lucas had the second goal. Remy Harding hit the first one. What a ground ball shot. He shot that ball under him. Is that Buckler again? It is. Mr. Pete Buckler with his 5th goal of the game. That coming at 8:37. You'll watch how Buckler is able. He shoots this ball. It looked like Darren O'Day, the Oriole pitcher.
He's got it low.
Boink.
Just a tweener right there.
Oh my goodness.
We call that the 5-hole between the knees. Goalie was in position there. The ball just had its own eyes.
We talk about the 5-hole, and I learned that means that mostly in ice hockey, where you've got the 1, 2, 3, 4, the sectors, lower left, lower right, upper. 5-hole being right between the legs, right between the wickets.
Nice check.
So Buckler with the goal. We've got an 8-1 score now. Good save. Braden Edwards has been under duress the entire game, obviously, for the Bobcats. 8-1 Falston. A nice hard shot by Aiden Dixon. Bit wide.
Foley's ball. You said he was closest to the ball and went out of bounds on the shot.
I think Aiden, who wound up and shot that from about, what, 15 yards out?
Look up! Look up, Jake! Look up!
Aiden has a goal. He had the 6th goal for Falston, coming at 2:50. Think about that. No goals scored at all in the 3rd period until 2:50. Oh, my. Contact. No flag. I'm a bit surprised, Tom, that no flag was thrown in.
Yeah, that's...
There's a lot of contact.
The offensive player was trying to dodge too many people, I think.
Okay. Okay.
The defender just happened to be standing there and getting a little bit of a bump.
Spoken like a true lacrosse player. A little bit of a bump.
A little bit of a bump.
Yeah.
One more. Look down. Diagonal.
Looking for the shot. It's a bit high. Nice hard shot there made by number 16, Lucas Holbert.
21 wide open on the bottom left-hand side. Looking, he was right on the doorstep, just couldn't find him.
Lucas had 4 goals coming in, 2 assists. There's Jacob Powell. I think I called him Jacob Butler earlier. Sorry about that, Jacob. Bobcats. I mean, it's pride here. You're down 8-1. You know, the chances of you coming back in the last period and being able to win the game are slim, and pretty much none.
Try to generate some kind of offensive formation, get a couple shots off, try to get a few in. Nice on the switch.
Oh, that's a nice defensive play.
That was a nice play offensively.
It
Maybe
was
one
nice.
more step around.
Jake Emmett making the save.
Yeah, Jack was on that save.
Jack, a 3rd-year player, would have been a 4th-year player had we had lacrosse last year. I keep repeating that. It just seems so weird. We were talking before we went on the air. In my lifetime, we had the polio vaccine, the polio scourge back in the early 50s. But, you know, to interrupt an entire year, let's say, because it was the spring, fall, and then winter seasons. So happy that the Harford County Public Schools were able to have pretty much a full season. Falston, who lost 4 games because of COVID, 1 player testing positive. But they're back playing now, and you know, not sure whether they'll be able to make up those games. I would seriously doubt they will.
Right.
Good save.
Good defense right there.
It was that.
Real good, strong defense. Was riding him out to the corner of the restraining box.
Boy, Tom, that's a very good point, because his shot had very little on it because he was being ridden away from the goal.
Right.
Emmett able to make an easy save. I'm so impressed with Emmett. He is right on the ball. The ball was a low skipper.
Yeah, I've been watching him when the ball's up front. His focus and his technique is very, very good.
Not a big guy, you know, and that's one of the great things about this sport is that you don't have to be a big person. Doesn't hurt if you're big and fast and good.
Yeah.
But if you're small and aggressive and, you know, like we're talking about Pete Buckler being so smart.
Nice shot, nice save.
Oh, nice clear, too. Good job by the goalie, Braden Edwards, making that clear.
They're pressing out. Challenging.
Jacob Sen, 17 with the ball.
Yep, he's challenging all the way to the sideline.
Bobcats with just the 1 goal with 4 minutes and 20 seconds left in the contest. It was 5-0 after 1 period, Falston leading. It was 7-1 at the half. This high school game of the week proudly sponsored by APG FCU. a member-owned and member-driven credit union helping families in Harford County achieve, prosper, and grow. So we have about, what, 4 minutes and 12 seconds left here in this third period of play. (7-1) at the half, and then the 1 goal scored here at 8:37. There's a moment Patrick Mull, the head coach, a 4-year starter at Boston back in the day, 3-time first-team All-County and the all-time leading scorer. Teaches at Aberdeen High School, where he coached for about 4 years. In fact, took Aberdeen to their first division title, I think, in many, many years.
Yeah.
And then took over this year as the head coach at Boston.
I believe he got Coach of the Year that year. Very well deserved. I mean, there's nothing like coming back to your alma mater.
Boy.
But what he did for that Aberdeen program was very, very good.
Yeah.
He's a great, great young man. Understands the game, and he can make it work at different levels. You know, he can take the smaller level and understand what works for them. You know, you can't come out here and work things maybe that Folsom can do, but you can kind of water it down a little bit and make it work for some schools that just don't have all of the talent yet.
Yeah.
And make it an enjoyable experience for them.
Tom, teaching in Aberdeen as he does and coaching at Boston, you know, that's not the ideal situation because you don't see the kids during the day.
Right.
But, you know, you make do.
Well, times have changed. I remember years ago you had to almost be teaching at the school in order to coach at that school.
I remember when they called it the temporary emergency coach, where you could have an outsider, somebody who didn't teach. Before that, you had to teach in order to be able to coach.
Right.
And they opened it up now. We have coaches who, you know, have an expertise in the sport, but don't necessarily teach either at that school or any school.
Right.
Which I think was a great thing.
Matt Parks did such a tremendous job at Falston, and he did not teach at the school. He had his own business on the side, but he was able to adjust his business to work during the spring season to get there.
Yeah.
You know, 1:30, 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
You know, again, the coaching staff, every head coach knows how important your coaching staff is.
Yeah.
And you can bring people in to help out. You know, if Patrick can't make practice one day, for example, or say, you know, Matt Parks couldn't make practice, his assistants were very worthy of doing it.
Yeah.
Smart.
Especially if some of those guys actually teach in the school, they can, you know, sort of keep track of the kids during the day.
Yeah. Okay.
Dixon,
Nice look.
nice pass. Here's Buckler. And that pass is so crisp. And the shot, a little bit wide. Good shot by Lucas Holbert.
Looking at X.
Shot a bit wide. Remember, we said they haven't won a regional title since 2017, and they haven't won a state title since 2016. This is a team that has won state titles in 1985, 87, 2001, 2012, 2013, and 2014, 3 years in a row, and then in 2016. So obviously they like to get back to that upper echelon.
That is the goal.
Oh, what a pass and what a shot. Wow. Waiting for the pass and making the shot was Jacob McMillan.
How did he get so wide open?
I don't know, but the pass came and he just one-timed it, caught it, and without almost any effort at all, able to put the ball in the net.
He was on that back pipe. It looked like he came up through the ground.
I don't think you can do that. Watch this now. Watch this pass.
Where is he hiding?
You're going to see how open he
so
is.
he's pushing. Oh, I see it.
There he is. Now watch the pass and the shot.
Yeah. So
Mike.
what happens there is the slide. H slid across, and he just backed up.
Well,
Great read.
and a great replay. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
That was.
So he didn't come up through the ground.
No, he did not.
Okay,
We saw him. So
I made that up.
We don't have a scoop. Oh, Tom Nelson, who just invented the play. Get under the ground and,
And then pop
up and get the ball.
It's called groundhog.
Oh, Tom Nelson.
This ball push.
Down go two of the Boston Cougars.
That's a tough call. You know, that's a tough call.
Yeah, it was aggressive, and And again, you know that looking back to the way the game used to be played, that was just common. You know, you knew you were going to get blasted. You know, you had to have your head on a swivel. And they've taken a lot of the contact out of the sport. Some people would say they sort of weakened the sport. I think it's made it a much better sport because it's allowed people of different sizes to play the game.
Oh, yeah.
And it's also introduced strategy and teamwork. What a pass, what a move, what a shot. Wow, that was Dixon who made the pass to number 17. That's Mike Ostremski. Ostremski from Dixon.
What was great about that is when he came through his dodge, he just looked on that backside. And positioning prior to the play, putting himself in a position to be successful.
Watch this, Tommy. Explain how this happens.
Well, okay, so he makes, and then he just knows that guy's there. That's like intuitive. That you can't really coach.
Yeah,
that.
because he was falling down. We're talking about Dixon, who made the pass to Ostremski, and Ostremski who converted the shot.
Right on the doorstep. Beautiful.
Making it 10-1. That's the goal coming at 1:33 left. It has been all Falston here today. The Cougars are showing that they are a team to be reckoned with. And think about it, this is a team that lost to C. Milton Wright 17-3. So imagine how tough C. Milton Wright is on that particular day.
Everybody's getting a little bit better now. They're getting more practices in. The weather's changing. Some games being played.
But we're at the end of the season. It can't be, can it? Can the season be nearly over? Just when
Seems like it just started.
I can remember coaching baseball. The first good weather you got, we started March the 1st. It was so cold. I remember one year we shoveled snow off the parking lot and used rubber baseballs so we could practice.
Right.
About May the 15th, it started getting, kind of warmer, and the season was over. Here's a shot. I save this time. I was always a proponent of having fall baseball. It never went very far, but to me, fall is the time to play in this Maryland weather because, you have good weather from all the way into the first week of November. Whereas in the way we play it now, the season starts March the 1st. Your season is over early May.
Right.
You don't get good weather until,
It's the end of April.
Yeah, at the end of April at best.
Well, that's why I played in mud bowls all the time. When I was growing up, we didn't have a turf field. But we did a lot of parking lot stuff. God, we do stick work drills for hours and then scrimmage for 20 minutes at the end of practice. We were so excited. But I could tell you what, when I went off to college, I could catch a lacrosse ball almost anywhere.
Yeah.
Good passes, bad passes. Because we did so many catching and throwing drills forever. It's forever.
Good point, the fundamentals.
We didn't know any better, so we thought, okay.
Yeah, this is how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, that's what my coach did. This is what we did.
Tom, I haven't had a chance to mention, but we're looking at the crowd here. We've got actual spectators in the stands. It sounds weird to say that, but for so long they didn't allow spectators to come in because of COVID. Now I actually see people sitting side by side.
Yeah.
It's amazing, family groups together. That's the end of the period.
Okay.
10-1 is our score. The Falston Cougars, who again were up 5-0 after one period, up 7-1 at the half. Now we're up 10-1. Buckler with 5 goals for Falston. He has certainly been the standout, but you can just pick the players. Dixon, so impressed with his midfield ability. Not only as a lot of times you'll see Tom, a specialist who is a face-off person who goes off the field.
Right.
And he gets the face-off, and then he's making passes.
He's hungry.
Yeah.
Once you get down the field.
Yeah.
And what I like is the fact that, you're going to make mistakes. That doesn't mean you stop playing.
Yeah.
You just keep going, and you'll do way more good. There'll be way more good than bad out on the field. So just stick with it. Everybody makes bad passes. Everybody drops passes. Try not to drop the next one.
Yeah.
Try not to make another bad pass.
Well, the thing about Dixon too is that he is a sophomore.
Yeah.
Which you're the rest of the league, and you say, oh my goodness, we've got 2 more years to put up with this guy.
Well, they got on the attack. They got a freshman, a sophomore. They got a sophomore in the midfield. They got a junior middies. sophomore at defense, freshman at defense. They're going to need to fill Jack Emmett's shoes. That's going to be a big pair of shoes.
And Pete Buckler, who's leaving as well.
Right.
Hey, this high school game of the week proudly sponsored by APG-FCU, a member-owned and member-driven credit union helping families in Harford County achieve, prosper, and grow. Really want to thank APG-FCU coming up this year and, you know, sponsoring high school sports. We're just so happy to be, Tommy, I mentioned 27 years, you know, on the air with the Harford Cable Network. And Tom, I was old when we started. You know, this is. I'm now doing games of grandparents,
Right.
like their grandchild is playing, and
Right.
I'm thinking, how can that be? Oh well.
Good
Just
memories.
so privileged that you know, we've been able to be around Harford sports. Gosh, going back to the 1950s. Come on. Here come the Cougars now
Nice
with the
touch.
ball. And the shot and the goal. That's Dixon. Aiden Dixon with his second goal of the game. That goal coming at 11:48, so just into the beginning of the fourth period.
That was a tough one. There's a missed ground ball right there. Turns into a goal.
11-1. Again, 5-0 at the quarter, 7-1 at the half, 10-1 at the third quarter, and now 11-1. Tom, in baseball, they have a 10-run rule after 5 innings.
Put somebody on the.
Dixon goes down. Good from behind, but he kept the ball. But there is no such rule in lacrosse.
Putting somebody on second base.
Yeah, that's a little bit strange, isn't it?
Not to jump ship here from lacrosse to baseball, but Major League Baseball they do that.
Yeah, I know.
I was like, what?
Yeah. It's just a little different as
It is.
as a purist, you know, guy who
Right.
remembers baseball being played back in the day. Of course, I'm a big fan of the DH, so I can't call myself a purist per se.
Yeah, one league has DH, one doesn't. Pitchers bat. One league, no pitchers batting.
Yeah, but then when they play interleague and you're in
Right.
the American League and the pitcher who hasn't batted all year has to pitch, has to bat,
Right.
a little ridiculous. Yeah, putting a man on second base with nobody out, starting the extra innings. Got a Boston player down.
Shoe came off.
It looks that way, yeah.
Flat tire.
It looks like Boston 15, Brendan Mudd, who has a shoe come off, so.
All right.
He'll go off and get that shoe back on. Just a beautiful day here at Bel Air. The temperature in the mid-60s. It stayed in the mid-60s. It was windy when we started. The wind has sort of died down. Perfect conditions. Beautiful field.
You could smell it in the air for some of that spring smell that lacrosse season is here.
Tom, that's manure. I hate to tell you that. Can I tell you a little quick story? I won't even name the school, but we were going to have a groundbreaking, not a groundbreaking, that's a goal. Tough to interrupt my story here with that goal. That was by Remy Harding. Remy, who got the first goal of the game, now scores it again at 10-13. The farmer whose land was next to the school that we had built and was being dedicated that day, he had a disagreement with the school system. And the day that they came out, the governor and all the dignitaries, he chose that day to spread his liquid manure.
Oh my.
And the smell was, to us country folk, was, you know, pretty bad. But to people who were the city, it was awful. And the farmer was sitting on his tractor,
With a big smile.
smile on his face. Oh, gosh. Terrible thing. Nice,
Defensive
nice
hustle. They
thing.
get your stick to the inside.
That's the long stick from the defender. Able to knock it away. Looked like there was Owen Carantonis, and Owen is a freshman who made that stick, knocking it out of bounds. 12-1. Austin has led all the way, scoring the first 5 goals in that first period. Sort of lengthened it from there. Jankowiak, the only goal for the Bobcats. Oh my, it has to be a penalty, doesn't it? No, he got flattened, but no flag.
It's a nice play.
Play on, as they say. No blood, no foul. Now the flag goes down. It must be tough for officials to determine, yeah, there's some contact, let's let the contact happen, but
Yeah.
you know, when does it become excessive?
It's they're a lot closer to what's going on. So you know, the fans and the spectators. Sometimes they're questioning what's going on the field. Coaches have an idea of what their players are about, what they can and can't do.
Yeah.
And the referees are right out there in the game, knowing, what they see and what they hear.
It's a job that I've never done, and I don't think I would ever like to do. That's being an umpire or an official. I mean, every time you make a call, half the people are mad at you.
Half like you.
That was a nice save. Looks like we have a new goalie in the game, number 39. We don't have a 39 on our program, so
Down here.
we have a number 9, Landon Mills. We'll assume that's Landon, number 39, who we have on our program as number 9.
It's nice to get him in the game.
Yeah.
You never know what happens out there during the course of a game or as the season progresses.
My other story that you may be interested in, back in the day in the Susquehanna League when Cal Ripken Sr. was playing for the Aberdeen Canners. They were playing a game back in the early 50s. Robbie Wallace, who was the sports editor for the Aegis at the time, eventually became editor. The umpires didn't show up, and so they weren't going to be able to play the game. It was a shot wide. And so Cal Ripken Sr., who was a player manager of the team, 18 years old maybe 17, came up to Robbie and said, "Robbie, will you umpire?" And Robbie said, "No way, I've seen how you treat umpires, I will not umpire." So Cal says to him, "Look, if you'll umpire and we can play the game, I will guarantee you that nobody will give you anything at all." So Robbie said, under those conditions. So Robbie said on the first play of the game, he made a call, and Cal Ripken came out and was in his face. Robbie said, "I took off the mask, I took off the chest protector, played it on home plate, and the game was over."
He couldn't hold back.
Oh, Cal couldn't help himself. Cal Sr., we lost him in 1999, just one of the great people.
Oh, my.
Just a wonderful person, fiery, cantankerous, but just a lovely guy.
I have 2 sons.
He played in the
Billy and
majors,
Cal. Yeah. Wow.
and we lost Vi earlier this year.
Yes.
Just the matriarch of the Ripken clan. I mean, what a privilege to have the Ripken family and to claim them as our own here in Harper County. I mean, you think about the great athletes that we've had. There have been so many great families.
Okay, so they're setting up here.
6 minutes and 50 seconds left in the contest. Getting a little chippy out there now,
Yeah.
perhaps. New players in the game. Charlie Perry, number 7 for Boston, had the ball there momentarily. Both the coaches playing some of the players that haven't had a chance to play.
Yeah, let's get them up and down the field a little bit.
12-1 is our score, as you see on your TV screen. Tom, this is our next to last game of the spring season. We're just so thrilled that we were able to do a season of sports after being canceled late in the winter season last year, and then no spring season at all, nor fall, nor winter.
I think the last time I talked to you, there were other sports scheduled, which was fine, but then things happened there and then opened the door up for the Friday night game, which was, I believe, played but not televised,
Right.
along with this one on Wednesday. So you have one more.
Yeah, it's a boys lacrosse game. We're doing this on a Wednesday night. This coming Friday is our final game of the year. Oh, what a pass. Now, come on. That is impossible. He passed the ball over his head. It looked like number 7 with the pass. Charlie Perry. And was that Mike Perkisto? P-U-R-K-I-S-T-O, Mike Perkisto. What a pass. Watch this replay. You'll see he passed it over his head, sort of behind his head. What's this? You can't do that. That's not possible.
He's that defensive stick, so he's got that long stick.
Wow.
I have Mike in class.
Oh, dude, Mike Perkisto. Yeah, that's his first goal of the year, and he deserves to celebrate. But I'll tell you what, that pass by number 7, Charlie Perry, that was a great pass.
I got you. Ooh, that's a little bit rough there.
13-1. That goal coming at about 5 minutes and 30 seconds left.
It's getting a little... Some people just got to learn, just relax a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, the emotions come out because, again, it is Falston, it is Bel Air. You're on your home turf, Bel Air Bobcats are, and, you know, this, you're just being taken to the woodshed by Falston.
You don't want to hurt anybody, and you don't want to get ejected from the game.
And Tommy, you know what, you remember things back, you know, when I was in high school, when being an Edgewood High School guy, and we would play Bel Air. When you played Bel Air was the big school in the county. It was the county seat. And, you know, they had the best of everything, we thought. And so beating Bel Air in the day was a big thing, was a big deal. Now, of course, now the schools are much more even in terms of, you know, their funding and those type things. But the Bobcats, who had, of course, Al Sesky, the great coach, and, you know, Jack McCracken, great baseball coach.
Yeah, those names really set the standard.
Bruce Hart, you mentioned the Bruce Hart's name.
Right.
Great stuff. And again, we think this is Landon Mills. The number we were given was number 9, but Landon Mills wearing number 39, making some good saves.
He tracked that ball perfectly. Did a great job.
Boy, think about this. You've got Jack Emmett as your number 1 goalie, and then Landon Mills you bring in, and I don't see any drop-off at all. He has stopped some really, really tough shots.
Yeah. Everybody's giving him a little fist bump. That's what you should do.
Absolutely. But we were talking about being a high school senior, and the great thing about being able to play sports now as a senior, not losing that senior year. That's what my heart breaks for last year's seniors in the spring, and the football players this year, and the basketball, you know, swimming, all the other sports, soccer, who didn't get to play in their senior year.
Playing high school sports is great.
Oh my goodness, you remember?
It is great. I mean, being active in your school, whether it's sports or in the band or the court, whatever it is, and you're contributing to after-school activities.
Yeah. And Tommy, my best friend, Jeff Glover in high school, who now lives in Spokane, Washington, we are still tight. We still, you know, see each other. I go visit him. He comes visit me. My other best friend, Alan Ingalls, who lives also in Spokane, just coincidentally, just retired. You know, it's the friendships you have with teammates. There's a bond.
Forever. Yeah, you can't explain. And when you meet them, nothing's changed.
It's
Within 1 minute, it's the.
Yeah, do you remember
back to normal?
The only thing is the shot you made becomes like 30 feet instead of 5 feet. You know, everything becomes a little bit greater, if you will.
Yeah. I go back up to Long Island to visit my family, and then I always catch up with some friends, and we pick up like right where we left off. It's like we don't miss a beat.
Yeah.
And you know, the opportunity to play high school sports, the opportunity to be able to contribute to your high school, whether it's in a play or in an orchestra, a marching band.
Absolutely.
It's great to be a part of it.
No question about it. The teammates and the friends you make will be lifetime friends, hopefully. Only trouble is, at my age, the friends start to drop off a bit, so you have to treasure every day.
Yeah, we're at that point, right? The conveyor belt of life.
Yep. We're waxing philosophical here. Tom Nelson, Don Morrison with you. 13-1 the score, as you see. It's been Falston all the way. The Cougars have just dominated. Not from the beginning, because, Tommy, as you said, it was like Bel Air had the ball early.
Right.
And then there was a lull. The first goal was scored at 6:49, meaning we had gone almost 6 minutes without a goal being scored. And now it's 13-1.
Falston was a man down. They were able to hold the ball until everything got even. Tough.
Recovered by the Bobcats.
Yep.
2:30 and counting left in the contest.
Look at this pressing out here. And MG there pressing on out. Very nice.
And also Mike Perkisto, am I spelling his name correctly? Mike Perkisto, number 12, who scored that goal.
Oh yeah, he's going to be smiling for days.
Well, I'll tell you what, I mean, that goal was so impressive. The pass, first of all, over the head by Charlie Perry, and then catching the ball and making the shot. Flag goes down. Looks like hacking.
Or a slash. A little bit of both.
A little no-no is basically what it was. Is that going to be, somebody going to be put off the field for?
Yeah. So Bel Air's
like,
got an extra man right now. Falston's getting their defense in order.
1:39 left in the contest. Again, we want to thank you for tuning in. Hope you've enjoyed this telecast. I want to thank the APG Federal Credit Union for making it possible, and for Kelly Jarrah and all the folks at Hartford Cable, including Mark Service, our director for the day, and all the camera folks here, and the sound people, as they say on the radio show, making us sound more intelligent than we are, which isn't hard for me.
Yeah.
You know, anything that's a step up is probably a good thing. Another save. I hope you have the name right, Landon Mills. Because again, as we say, we have number 9 as his number on our roster.
I'm going to go for that bounce shot. I'm going to try to hit the planet Earth with the ball, get a crazy bounce.
Well, he has been impressive, Landon Mills. Because he's been under fire here in this fourth period. 30 seconds, counting down, left in the game. We're breaking away pretty quickly at the end of this, so we can tell you that Pete Buckler with 5 goals. Buckler had 3 in the first period, 1 in the second period, and 1 in the third period. He's led the way for the Falston Cougars. Also a very impressive Aiden Dixon, who had 2 goals, but has played a tremendous game as the face-off specialist.
That was a great look. Great shot.
And that is the end of the contest here, as the Falston Cougars win it by 13-1 as they celebrate on the field. They go now to 5-1 on the season. The Bel Air Bobcats drop to 2-5. Tom Nelson, it's been an enjoyable game, especially if you're a Falston fan or a Falston player or coach.
Yeah, I teach over there, and when it comes to a game, I like to see a good game, but they played really well today, and I was good to see some of the players. So a beautiful day for lacrosse, for both teams. They were all able to get the play.
And give the Bobcats credit. They didn't give up. They kept playing hard throughout the game.
Yeah, they did.
They just ran into a buzzsaw today of Pete Buckler and Aiden Dixon and the rest of the Falston Cougars. So again, Tom Nelson, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure teaming with you.
You're welcome. Thank you. I've learned a lot here. It's really different being up here to just sitting in the bleachers, watching the game. So I won't find myself listening to myself on this because you're going to hear things and go, I sound like that.
I sound like that?
Yeah.
I said that? Yeah, well, we again do thank you for tuning in. The High School Game of the Week, proudly sponsored by APG-FCU, a member-owned and member-driven credit union helping families in Harford County achieve, prosper, and grow. I'm Don Morrison. That's Tom Nelson. We want to thank you for tuning in. Again, our final score, it's the Fallston Cougars over the Bel Air Bobcats. Final score, 13-1. Good night, everyone.
Thank you.